Today we're going to be taking the core that just dropped literally this Black Friday. Core wrecked. Ingredients wise, I'm not going to do that. But essentially, these are the ingredients. I'll post it right here. Super high quality ingredients. It's pretty much a bare bone version of their previous supplements. So if you like certain ingredients and do not like certain ingredients, you get to choose. And so I like a lot of stuff in here. This is like my go-to driver. All the clean ingredients when I kind of want to lock in for a big powerlifting day, and also has some pump ingredients, not too much where you feel like you're having too much swelling. But they had a creatine product like this before, so I think the texture is a lot more fine on this creatine. Look at that. Look at that. Just throwing creatine in our brand new sink. So I have to fish for the scooper. I was beginning to question whether there's a scoop or not, but there definitely is. Oh yeah, here we go. Trying to get back on the New Year grind. As you probably could tell, I'm in a new place. This is gonna be our new home. I guess we could show a little 360 of the very unfinished place. We won't show the rooms, but we can show the kitchen, because we moved in we didn't move in, but we're moving to this new location. Jess and I were officially moved in, and we're gonna have our own little place, and we're gonna do a lot of content. So we'll show a little 360 of, I guess, the kitchen and the living room. I guess we won't show everything yet. We'll do a final review, but you can show like maybe some of the views. Probably doesn't look as good, but we'll show you in times when it's finished. For now, we're gonna step up the This is our creatine. Much better consistency than it was previously. It's still creatine monohydrate. The previous one's still really good, but this is just more fun. So new year, new me. So it seems like 2025 is gonna be a really good year for us. We're definitely gonna document the journey back to powerlifting. More about that maybe later in this vlog. So scoop this. Getting back to the core, there's another pre-workout called Wrecked, just Wrecked, not Core, I believe, and it has glycerol in powder form. Glycerol in powder form is not the active version of glycerol, and apparently glycerol is much better in its liquid form. Pretty much the main function of glycerol is to keep you hydrated, makes you feel like you can keep going for longer. So this is active glycerol. It is, honestly, it tastes like in that Starbucks when I'm pumping the syrup stuff. I really like it. I'm gonna do 2 juicy pumps of the gliss.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's like you taste it. It's weird at first, but it kind of tastes like pretty good. So this is also dropping on the 19th. Use code JUSTLY if you want to support and get some really high quality supplements. Huge Supplement has been coming out with some bangers. These are all new bangers that came out recently. I'm gonna be using these as a prep for powerlifting. This used to be Wada Band. It's not Wada Band anymore because people are using it as a masking agent. People were peeing and having ruined urine samples, so that's what glycerol used to be banned. It's not banned anymore because it really doesn't do anything like performance enhancing or super physiological to your body. So yeah, also it tastes great in your pre-workout. Helps out with energy and sustainability during workout. So highly suggest trying out if you're interested in trying some new supplements other than just like powdered stuff. So that's about it. See you in the workout. Peace. We're switching to the commentary mode. So with this deadlift footage, I'm actually working up to a 3x2, 3 sets of 2 reps, beltless ascending sets. I've been cutting, a lot of you know that. I went from about 217 to 218 pounds, dropping down to a morning weight of 211 pounds. And in this process of dropping down in weight, I had 2 goals. I wanted to get low enough so I could cut a mini cut into the 205 weight class, aka 93 kilo weight class, and feel pretty damn strong. But as of recent, I've realized with the previous bulk I've done, I've put on a ton of mass on my legs, even though my quads are still pretty small. My legs have grown significantly, which isn't necessarily a good thing for the 93 kilo class. And at around 6'1", that is not ideal at all for powerlifting leverages. I'm too lanky, I'm too skinny for the weight class if I decide to cut even further, to the point where I'll be so weak and pretty fragile. And speaking on that, I have 2 big injuries that came up: an overuse injury in my pec, left side, and a very recent injury in my lumbar / upper glute, of which explains why this session was pretty critical and questionable on whether I should deadlift or not. Getting back to whether I'm going to compete in powerlifting, I think I will, but I'm not going to restrict myself to the 205 weight class anymore. I'm neither going to fill out the 230 weight class because, well, I felt pretty unhealthy and it did not feel like a sustainable weight to be at. I want to stay fit, I want to stay lean for health, and eating a lot of food does not feel healthy at all. So I'll probably be hovering around the 210 to 215 mark, but time will tell because I'm technically still cutting. But getting back to the training footage, we are starting the actual exercise outside of squat, bench, deadlift with shoulders. We're doing dumbbell overhead press. Unfortunately, due to the injury with my pec, I still feel vertical presses on my pec tendon, and it's obviously not as bad as doing a bench press, for example. At this point, bench pressing around 225 is tender and irritable. It's not difficult, it's just very tender on my pec, and I feel as if I continue to be hard-headed and to try to work through things, that's when you really expose yourself to huge risk of injury like a pec tear. So as a little bit of a tip, if your body is fighting back, give yourself more rest, give yourself more time to get back to training for the injured area. I know how frustrating an overuse injury can be. I've had this with my bursitis, my hip, for the longest time. Thankfully, the right side of my bursitis has settled, and now it's just really this new glute and pec injury. So with this cut, I've been training very hard the last couple of weeks, and I'm very systemically fatigued. I feel weaker on a lot of movements. I feel weaker on the deadlift. I feel weaker on the presses. And it's not completely based on the load that I'm lifting. I'm still lifting around the territory that I was pressing at before the cut. It's just I've been training with the new philosophy of doing less overall volume, aka lower reps but higher intensity sets, with the focus of the concentric phase of the lift, while still of course controlling the negative or eccentric part. Now here's how we're looking in a stringer. It feels kind of weird not wearing a stringer for so long because I was bulking and kind of hiding the soft spots, to now where I'm getting a little bit leaner, not shredded, and now I could see like my external oblique or anterior serratus muscles. So I'm training these lateral raises pretty hard because the delts definitely felt like a body part that kind of fell off during the bulking period, but they are also one of my stronger points and respond really well to training. Definitely one of my bigger focuses as I drop body fat. So this day is a shoulder and back day, specifically the lats. The shoulders being my stronger point and my lats being the weaker point in my training. Speaking on the back day, we are focusing on high to low rows in the sagittal plane with focus on keeping the scapula depressed and closing the space between my elbow and my torso. Try not to overstretch at the top to prevent the scaps from elevating, but sometimes it's a little difficult to keep perfect technique when you're actually training hard. So if you think that I'm quitting early on a set, I kinda am, because I could get more reps, but they won't be the prettiest reps and it'll be kind of like ego reps. I'd rather take reps with better control, resulting in more use of the intended muscle being used than kind of just moving weight. Remember, you want to pinpoint fatigue in the local region that you're training and not to have overall systemic fatigue just to count reps and hit a PR, at least for hypertrophy training. And I finished off this set with a bilateral grip with a back down, just see how it feels, not really taking it too serious. I'm not sure if I can actually do this again. Unilateral work tends to be better for weak points anyway. In terms of technique with these, you don't want your elbow to pass your shoulder joint. If you do so, it'll be more of a rear delt exercise and a bit more of a bicep exercise. Now, if you do want both of those gains, by all means go for it. It's not really wrong, it's just it might not be the fatigue that you're looking for in those regions based on the programming that you're currently running. Personally, my bicep training is on my leg day, which is a day apart, and I do hit rear delts separately with lighter loads later in the session, so it does make sense to go super far back and get a worse lat exercise for a bit more rear delt and bicep gains. Now I'm also doing more vertical presses because I did drop off my bench frequency from 3 times a week to now like once a week, and doing so allows my triceps to handle more, and yes, my upper chest to handle more if I'm not going super vertical with my presses. And vertical presses are great because they're not just for your anterior delt, they also hit the lateral delt and of course triceps. Because I didn't do a whole lot of volume earlier with my dumbbell presses, I feel like hitting the 6 to 8 rep range on these is very nice and complements everything I'm training as a compound movement. And I love training hard, but man, making these scrunched up faces can't be good for my skin. And I'm wondering if I'm creating more wrinkles in the long run by having these high intensity training sets. I need to be like grinding reps with a complete straight poker face, get that dermal maxing in. Now it should be this clip that we're running some rear delts on this fancy machine that I'm not too sure if I like it that much at this point. It's certainly a novelty movement, like a new machine variation for the rear delts that I never done before. Definitely unique, but I'm not sure if I like it more over a reverse pec deck. Definitely not over a rear delt cable row or traditional back row with the elbows being behind the shoulders. Now I'm throwing in some of these wide grip pull downs, purposely not overextending nor touching the chest because I want to keep my elbows about 90 degrees. The idea is to hit the iliac lumbar region of your lats, the middle lats. which are worked when you're pulling close to your chest with focus of the shoulder adduction, like the concentric part of the lift. So also stay tuned for the coaching application if you're interested in coaching. Be dropping some new spots early January. It has been over a year since I've uptaked some more clients. More info will be on my Instagram if you're following me. Now here's the current physique. Now mind you, I'm bloated in my midsection because I did eat like 4 meals. But I think we're looking pretty solid. I'm going to put some music over this. Thank you everyone. Use code JESSLEAF for huge supplements and Young LA. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Peace.